I know it's scary.
Wake up!
But it's magical.
Your station. Here is 105.5.
From the very beginning, we just saw the world differently than everyone else. Everyone else was made obvious in all we do.
That didn't sit well with some people.
What's our plan?
Our plan is to keep going up and not just go up, but stay at the very top. We are your favorite radio station, Splash 105.5 FM.
If it's up, then it's stuck. If it's up, then it's up, then it's up.
105.5, The Splash.
Real estate. It's real estate on Splash 105.5 FM.
All right, good morning. This is Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5. And today is Monday, the 15th day in the month of March 2021. I am Michael Olatunbosun. On Real Estate Today, we bring you information on real estate, property and land and housing, letting and sales, as well as legal aspects of buying and selling of property, including rights issues between tenants and landlords, among other things. Last week, we started one critical way of attaining housing for all in Nigeria is through mortgage. And Nigeria accounts for over 20 million housing deficit, the highest in Africa. And there is an urgent need for Nigeria to find about 21 trillion naira to fund its housing need. In the same vein, a cursory look at the current interventions by both the government and private sector appear to be just scratching the surface. So recently, the federal government launched the project of the National Social Housing, in which 300 housing units will be built across the nation. 36 states in the nation in the course of between 12 and 18 months. So you can imagine the size of the houses that will be built in relation to the deficit that we have on ground. So mortgage is still key. But is it? So without, 20 million housing units and still counting, industry sources are optimistic that an efficient mortgage system is a catalyst needed to provide homes for over 64 million Nigerians who are employed, yet do not earn enough to buy a house. I remember I was talking about mortgage the other time. The mortgage institution, basically a bank that offers loans so people that want to build houses or purchase houses or real estate can do that. What happens is that people might not be able to afford to buy houses with their monthly salaries, or it may take a longer time to save up to buy or build a house. So mortgage banks step in by loaning out this real estate investment capital and collects the payment back on installments. Sometimes these loans are collected with interest or not, depending on the type of mortgage bank it is. I remember that last week I also told you that when I checked on the website of the Central Bank of Nigeria, there are 35 mortgage financing institutions on their website. That's basically those that are registered. Are these mortgage institutions sufficient, considering the huge housing gap in the country and the huge financing gap? Though a major demand for mortgage access is being gainfully employed or having regular income flow, the reality is that in the mortgage market, it is not enough to just be gainfully employed. I'll give you a few figures in a moment. What mortgage lenders are looking at is not just the job the borrower is engaged in. They are instead looking at how fat and sustainable the borrower's income is. So more often than not, income is just too low to carry mortgage loan. And you have a lot of people in that bracket. I'll come to that pretty soon. In Nigeria, people whose income is below 1.2 million naira per annum are classified as low-income earners. And that's basically within the radar of the national minimum wage, which stands at 30,000 naira today. This means that all civil servants who earn a minimum wage are automatically excluded from mortgage loan, even if the interest rate is as low as 6%, which is the lowest interest rate only offered in the country by the National Housing Fund. Based on the terms of mortgage structuring, which requires repayment of not less than a third or 33.3% of monthly income, a borrower on 30,000 naira per month has to deduct approximately 10,000 for loan repayment. And a monthly payment of this sum for 30 years as required by law will mean that the prospective homeowner will contribute only 3 million naira for the period of 30 years. So much later, I'll bring you a conversation about if you earn 30,000 naira and 10,000 naira goes into your loan repayment. Can you survive on 20,000 naira? I mean, that's just a long shot, isn't it? However, apart from the fact that there is no decent accommodation for 3 million naira in a good location, there's also no 30-year mortgage available to loan applicants. Besides, given that minimum wage remains, that even lower than 30,000 naira for many workers across the country, you know that they will not be able to muster that amount of minimum of 3 million naira in the 30-year period. Now listen to this. Only 5 million of the 69.54 million Nigerians reported by the National Bureau of Statistics to have been gainfully employed as at the third quarter of 2018 earn a salary of 3 million naira and above per year, as compiled by data that I stumbled upon. This data put employed Nigerians who can buy affordable housing at only 7.19%, meaning as much as 64.54 million people who earn less than 3 million naira cannot afford to buy a house, except, of course, there's an increase in their income level. According to the Association of Housing Corporation of Nigeria, AHCN, an umbrella organization for all federal and state housing agencies, the underdevelopment of Nigerian mortgage sector in driving home ownership is worrisome, as more than 90% of new homes utilize funds from personal savings for incremental construction. I hope you understand what I mean by incremental construction. The high mortgage interest rate in Nigeria is considered as one of the key culprits responsible for the country's housing crisis. The typical mortgage rate in Nigeria ranges between 7 to 10% for Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and between 15 to 25% for commercial mortgage institutions, making it one of the highest in the world. So in Nigeria, for instance, a mortgage of 25 million naira at 15% per annum interest rate means repayment of 37.9 million naira in interest only over the 15-year period, which is even more than the principal itself. The trick here is that at 15% interest rate, it takes a lender approximately 7 years to recover the 25 million naira it lent to you. That is about 6 years if the interest rate is 20%. You're still listening to Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan, and we're discussing the mortgage option to closing the housing gap in Nigeria. When I come back from this commercial break, I'll play you this interview with Babatunde Adebajo. And in that interview, he discusses the challenges in the mortgage financing subsector. Babatunde Adebajo is a retail banker. When I come back from this break.
Jọ̀ọ́, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ìwọ ni mò ń bá wí. Ìwọ tó fẹ́ràn láti máa fẹ́ bí rẹ ní nǹkan tó dáa jù. Mo mọ̀ wípé ó fẹ́ràn awúnilórí DSTV decoder bundle yìí. Kàkà ẹgbẹ̀rún 18,600 náírà, ó lè ra DSTV HD decoder tuntun pẹ̀lú àkókò ìwòran oṣù kan lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lórí DSTV Confirm fún owó tó kéré bíi ẹgbẹ̀rún 19,900 náírà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ó gbọ́ mi dáadáa. Pẹ̀lú àkókò ìwòran oṣù kan lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lórí DSTV confam fowó tó kéré bíi ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàádínlọ́gọ́rùn-ún náírà. Tó o bá jẹ́ni tó sábà máa ń fẹ́ kẹ́bí rẹ̀ gbádùn àwọn eré alárinrin, àkókò rẹ̀ rèé. Àǹfààní yìí bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọjọ́ kìíní oṣù kejì. Fún bàdí ẹ̀ ní o, ìlànà àtàdéhùn yìí DSTV Nàìjíríà, àsìkò rẹ̀ ni.
Do you need a fully furnished, nice and comfortable hostel accommodation in University of Ibadan? Or a place for seminars and executive trainings at the same venue? You do not have to worry. Adebayo Akonde Hall suits your lodging needs and provides you a home away from home. Adebayo Akonde Hall is a 4-star hostel built in a serene environment with constant supply of electricity. It has fully furnished rooms that gives you great comfort at an affordable price. Adebayo Akonde Hall is located at Ajibode Extension, University of Ibadan. To make reservations, visit www.adebayohall.com or call the numbers 0805 699 8718, 0805 699 8719, 0805 699 8720. Adebayo Akonde Hall. Built for comfort. Built for you.
Gbogbo èèyàn pẹ̀lú oríṣiríṣi ara yín ẹ̀ mú ohunkóhun tọ́wọ́ yín bábà ìbá àjọmọ́rogùn síbi onírin àní ohunkóhun ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣeré ìdárayá ọ̀pá arúgbó lọ́wọ́ tiẹ̀ bá ìyẹn náà bàjẹ́ kò sí gírì ẹ dúró ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí sáré sẹ́tì ìdí ẹ̀mú náà. Ó yá ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì. Gbogbo èèyàn la pèsè eré ìdárayá afọkàntara lókun nínú ìdíje 3 Crowns Make Fitness Challenge. Amárata kébé ọlọ́gbọ̀n ọjọ́ forúkọsílẹ̀ lónìí ní www.femininelounge.com/competition.
3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
Hey, Omo, make you no sleep on top bicycle, oh. This better don't tie rapper. For those of una wey never use una MTN SIM for over 15 days now, MTN don't charge. Come increase your welcome back of our woof to 12 times your recharge when you load 100 naira and above. Yes, so no be 1, no be 2, no be 3, no be 4, no be even 10 sef. Now 12 times your recharge, then go take credit and data knock your phone, oh. This one means say if you recharge 100 naira, MTN go summer you with 900 naira credit plus 300 naira data bonus. If you can't recharge 200 naira, now 1,800 naira credit go drop for your phone plus 600 naira data bonus. Just make sure so you use *161 recharge pin hash take recharge and enjoy your bonus for up to 30 days. Omo, this one don't pass welcome back. MTN can add short banker second term on top self. Hey, where that my MTN SIM? Make me self begin follow enjoy better too.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Guy, my current PFA gives me concerns. The last time I got any account statement from them was a year ago. Even their customer service is so poor. They don't respond to email or messages on social media. Wow. Yes, so I can't imagine this type of error I made. And to imagine I'm stuck with them for the rest of my life. I hope I even get paid when I retire.
Nah, you don't need to be at their mercy. Haven't you heard of the transfer window?
Guy, be serious. We are not talking about the Premier League.
This is not about football. The National Pension Commission has launched the RSA transfer system, which means you can now change your preferred PFA.
Really?
Yes, I have ported to ICO Pension. Their service is second to none. They respond promptly to your request and their customers come first. I can ask for a better PFA.
That's it. ICO Pension is the answer. For more information on how you can transfer your pension account to ICO Pension, visit www.icopension.com/switch or call 0700 ICO PFA. ICO Pension. Tomorrow's peace of mind starts with today's plans.
Make the most of the new normal with Nokia smartphones. Stay connected to friends and family with phone calls and video chats for longer with a 2-day battery life. And capture the beauty around you, snapping and sharing crisp pictures. The Nokia 5.4, 3.4, and Nokia 1.4 make staying connected easier. Nokia smartphones. Trusted, always secure, and built to last.
Mr. Babatunde Adebajo is a retail banker. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, sir.
The housing subsector, about 20 million housing deficits in Nigeria, and analysts have said that the mortgage sector should come to the rescue. But a lot of people are also saying that the mortgage sector in Nigeria is in coma, more like. For instance, Nigeria's mortgage subsector consists of about 2.5% of our GDP. When you compare to the United Kingdom's 80% or South Africa's 50%. while Ghana does about 30%. Do you think that with these statistics, we'll be able to get housing through mortgage for Nigerians?
No, I don't think so. Largely, to your point, yes, we have about, as at 2020, we have about 20 to 21 million, 20 million deficits in the housing unit for the country. And there have been discussions to say you will require about 21 trillion naira to cater adequately for the housing deficit in Nigeria. But to your point, do we have enough investment in mortgage? I'll say no. We don't have enough investment, and this is not far-fetched from some of the teething problems we have within the Nigerian economy, ranging from one, low investment, lack of education or knowledge around the mortgage financing. A lot of people are still not aware around what it takes to access mortgage in Nigeria. High inflation is another very key factor. So unpredictability around economic metrics. Most importantly, the inflation in Nigeria today, inflation is already around 15 to 16%, if I to put it conservatively, and the high cost of funds. So if you put all of this together, it explains why we are not having the kind of investment we should be having in mortgage in Nigeria.
One of those things that really disturb people like us on this matter is that we always do self-help. Everybody in this country thinks self-help, will help you to get housing for yourself, but it is not working. And just like you said, low investment in the mortgage sector, lack of knowledge, inflation, unpredictability, and the rest of it. What exactly is the gap in terms of making mortgage work? I understand that about 35 mortgage institutions are registered with the Central Bank of Nigeria, and some experts have said that only 5 of them are viable. Why is this so?
I think the first thing to start with, so looking at the National Housing Fund, where employees eligible, anybody that is 21 years and above and employed, are allowed to access a low-cost fund to access mortgage. By the new increased amount, you can access up to 25 million naira through this fund. But the truth is this: if you look at the number of viably employed Nigerians, it's relatively very low compared to the deficit we have for housing. So that speaks to the earning power of Nigerians. So if you look at how much, so aside from being employed, how much an average Nigerian worker is earning compared to what is required for the cost of building a house in Nigeria today, the disparity is huge. So that speaks to even the buying power. Does an average Nigerian employee have what it takes to access a mortgage finance? I would say not so. And to also the viability of or the access. So first of all, let's x-ray the options to an average Nigerian. So for you to be able to access mortgage in Nigeria today, so that you go through a PMI, a primary mortgage institution, National Housing Fund through the Federal Mortgage Bank, or you go through a commercial bank. Now, out of all of these 3 options that I've mentioned, only the National Housing Fund, where you go through to access the National Housing Fund, you have to go through a PMI. That's the only option where you have a low interest fund. So today it ranges between 7 to 10%, but to access it requires so much. The other 2 PMIs or your commercial bank, the average interest rate today ranges between 15 to 20%.
Wow.
That's quite high.
That's fat.
So if you relate this to my earlier point around the number of viable people earning enough to be able to access these funds, and considering the tenor, you realize why we have that huge gap in terms of financing.
I'm not sure whether we have any policy, any government policy that makes it easy for investors to come in. You've talked about inflation and the rest of it. So investors may be running away from, really that sector because of the atmosphere, unpredictability that you mentioned. I put my money down to run a mortgage finance institution, and I'm giving people facility to, run the facility for 20, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure of what's going to happen to my investment tomorrow. So the policy environment is also key. The government has not been forthcoming. Why is this so?
I wouldn't say we don't have the policy, because now we have the mortgage financing scheme where your mortgage can be purchased by a government. So I won't really say is largely policy. Yes, we've had policy, but again, the amount of available investment. Sometimes in 2008 we also talked about even available options for self-employed people, where you can access up to about 50 million. Central Bank pegged it at 50 million for self-employed people. But yes, all of these have not been juicy enough to attract so many investors. Then also, let's talk about the legal framework around validating registering of a property in Nigeria. That's also adding to the issue, because owning a home is something that can be very viable, because you can use it as collateral to access mortgage. But in Nigeria, because of the legal how cumbersome the whole process is, it's not making real estate a worthwhile investment as it should be. Because if I build and I can use that property to access funds from a commercial bank in future, because I've been able to complete the registration and all of that, it makes it more viable. So to your point, the earlier point you raised, people build largely to live. People don't build as a source of investment. Yes, it has improved, but compared to the deficit we have, it is not at that level. So until we put in, yes, the legal framework is sorted out, and we're able to say within a very short period, complete your registration process and be able to get all your papers and be able to present this as a worthwhile investment, we probably will still have this gap. So I won't say it's, yes, we have the policy, but workability of some of these policies and to make it very, very attractive to investors is one of the things we still have problem around. But again, I mentioned another huge problem, which is how many viable customers do you even have for mortgage in Nigeria, considering the low earning power?
You see, I want to stay on that matter, low earning power and how many viable customers. Anybody who earns minimum wage in Nigeria, I am thinking that if that should not be the problem if we have affordable housing. So when you are talking about housing, like affordability is a very relative term that I think we should also unlock and redefine. For instance, if someone earns 30,000 naira minimum wage, I am thinking that a 3 million naira home is not too big for that person to, get mortgage for and also pay back.
Let's start with out of that 30,000 minimum wage you are earning, what you can use for loan refinancing is just about 30 to 33% of what you are earning.
Yes.
So imagine if you take 30 to 33% of 30,000, what you have left, is it even viable to make you survive? That's the question you will ask. That's the next question you ask. Can you survive based on that? On the average today, you realize that commercial banks offer mortgage to averagely around anyone earning 200 to 250,000 naira and above. Even at that, again, remember, there are so many unpredictability around metrics in Nigeria. So if I'm investing in real estate, I have to put a huge margin, considering I don't know what the inflation will be in the next 10, 15 years, which will naturally be the tenor of mortgage in Nigeria. So then the huge cost of fund, today, the average you can borrow, going by the MPR, is around 11%. If you factor in cost of fund, which on the average will go between, say, 5 to 6%, and now add inflation to it.
Real estate. It's real estate on Splash 105.5 FM.
All right, it's still real estate today on Splash FM 105.5. A conversation with Babatunde Adebajo there. I'll conclude that conversation next week. Basically, there are a lot of things to talk about, and he has indeed answered quite a lot of my questions. And I thought that you would like to listen to the conclusion of it next week. Because I have to go now, I'd like to say thanks to you for listening and ask you to join me next Monday for another edition of Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5. If you have a question or query, particularly about advertising and sponsorship, send me a text message 0805-699-8676 or email Olatunbosun at splashfm1055.com, at Mike Tumbosun on Twitter. I have worked with Desmond at Tegbuiga Popola. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. Enjoy the rest of the day.